Hey, it's Drybear. Another day, another Q&A session for the First Descendant live with the devs. So I'm going to recap everything that I can in this video so far on just what's been asked. The players are asking, vehement questions to the devs, asking them what can be done, what can be changed, what can we expect for Season 3. So let's dive in. First, let's talk about this response from the directors. So they were actually asked if, they're going to be doing wider focus group testing or how they're gathering feedback from players in the game. And so they responded with, we are actively gathering player opinions through various channels, including focus group tests conducted before updates. Recently, we've also begun planning interviews with players who left the game at specific points to help guide improvements. We will review your suggestion about in-game surveys with the relevant teams. And what I want to take away from this is, I think that gathering feedback from players is a huge part of making the game successful, right? Because ultimately, you can't have a complete perfect vision as an individual. You need a wide set of perspectives and viewpoints, and I think that this is important. However, part of me, and maybe this is a little too cynical, having been a part of TFD since launch, playing it regularly and staying up with updates, but I feel like the core issues with TFD just come down to a general design, let's say like communication breakdown. Maybe I feel like a lot of times and maybe this is just outside of who's available on the team, or there's just a difference of vision, or maybe there's just the wrong people the right people aren't being empowered enough in this situation. But it doesn't feel like you're going to be able to, if you need an exiting players survey to solve core fundamental gameplay issues, or like balance issues, or design issues, I feel like you're kind of like really far behind the 8-ball in that point. So I'm glad they're doing surveys. I think the focus groups are a nice vibe check, but I feel like you shouldn't need the focus group to get a character within the ballpark of balance. Like maybe they're a little over, maybe they're a little under, or maybe it's kind of fun, but there's something you didn't notice. Versus like I feel like there definitely needs to be some internal driving forces that are very confident in what they're doing to be able to kind of nip this in the bud, as far as like making changes that people are very much against. And I know some people may or may not buy into that, but that's just my take. Next is a short little interaction where they were asked about the recent changes that were meant as a bug fix for Serena. There was feedback that the new Serena Ascension skill feels less responsive after that change. And after being questioned about it, they said that we empathize with the feedback that it feels less responsive and can't be used during certain animations where it just lost functionality. They said it was an unavoidable measure to fix the bug that was happening. It was allowing her to fly without consuming MP at all, so pretty serious. And due to the way it was implemented in the game, the bug fix, reverting it now is not feasible, which means they're not going to be rolling it back. It was a difficult decision between maintaining control fluidity and ensuring system stability, and we ultimately prioritized preventing exploitive behavior. But let me know if this is something you noticed after the bug fix patch for Serena on the Ascension skill, and what your opinion on is on this, and whether you're okay with it staying the way that it is. Another great question was asked, will there still be buffs and reworks to underperforming external component sets? We've kind of just been through basically since launch, the Slayer set was used in like 90% of situations, unless you were doing like a very specific farming build or a support style build. In general, almost everybody that had any ability damage was running Slayer. However, 5 new sets just went in. Let me know if you guys are actually using them in your builds or not. There's some cool ones for Blair, some cool ones for like Keelan and for Freyna. I'm just curious what you guys are using right now. And the response was, yes, we're currently reviewing the most recently released external component sets first. So that's the priority for getting those balanced and maintaining interest with the players. And they also mentioned that for these, they're focusing more on stat rebalancing, making sure the stats are meaningful, interesting, and you want to use them either in a 2 set or a 4 set. And they're not looking to do full, complete reworks on the new external sets, but they do have it on their radar to look at some of the older sets if necessary. Next up, it was asked if we could get more cosmetics in the game, like being able to change the presentation of VFX particle systems and skills for that matter. There's a lot of games, more specifically ARPGs, where you end up using one skill for like 3 months straight. But you know, that as a reference, a lot of people are saying, hey, it would be very cool if I could change the style and color of my lightning, or I could change the flame on Blair's flamethrower to be blue or green flame instead of just the normal color. So they say that they understand that this is interesting, but they have no plans to add a feature that allows changing skill colors at this time. It would require a lot of content updates, and some of the particle systems as they're set up in UE5 can be kind of finicky, especially with packages and package sizing and stuff like that. But will as of right now, they don't plan to do any skill cosmetics. Next, someone asked if they could replay missions, like completely just replay them. Now, what they have in the game right now, which you'll see in the director's response here, is they have the ability to rewatch cutscenes. So you can watch cutscenes over again if you want to, but you can't replay the mission again, which was being directly asked here. Someone wants to just redo the missions. You can change characters and replay the cutscene and see your character or skin in that cutscene. That's how people get some really cool screenshots in that general. But they're saying that currently you can rewatch the cinematics, but they have no plans to do a replay of a story mission, especially since they feel like not many people are asking for it. Next is a question. I'm just going to show the question. How are the jiggle physics coming along with 3 question marks? There's a sense of urgency there that is life-threatening. So how are the jiggle physics coming along? The director responds, this feature is scheduled to be included in the May update. So if you want an update on the dynamic motion in TFD, it is coming in May, and they've kind of confirmed this over and over, but don't worry, the dynamic motion is coming in, this next month. Next is a question of why are some ultimate weapons being completely left out from any buffs? I think this has been kind of a sentiment for quite a while. I gave them praise for it yesterday, and I think they do a great job in trying to keep the ultimate weapons interesting and viable. So they've gotten a lot of regular updates for ultimate weapons that completely changed their implant into the meta and how they get used. So overall, it's been good, but there have been, basically the whole time, specific weapons that need an update and have been sitting on waiting for one for quite a long time. And there's some that you pick up that just don't feel as strong. The question asker mentions like hammer and anvil. There's also just been some, general, weapons that even with passive don't really fall in line. So the question is, are we doing more to get some of those forgotten weapons a little bit more love and light under the sun? And the director responds with, first, we apologize for not being able to address this more quickly. The team is aware that certain ultimate weapons have become noticeably imbalanced following the core system update, and we consider this a high priority issue. Some of that is just due to the kind of cores that are available to certain weapons and what stats can go on the weapon and what slots they have available. There's some weapons that have a much more favorable slot selection than others that make them kind of come into the limelight, like Excava, for example, trying to do that. We are currently preparing a full rebalance of ultimate weapons with a focus on buffing those with underperforming stats. We are approaching this carefully to avoid raising the overall power baseline too much or causing abrupt shifts in the core meta. I feel like they could just buff without nerfing. I don't know what they plan to do with a full rebalance of all ultimate weapons. That's pretty intense, but we'll just have to see what shakes out. I think with cores and even arcade tuning being a part of this system and more components coming online, obviously designers need to be constantly kind of comparing these systems together and making sure that there's not any unfavorable interactions that make things go kind of crazy. But it should go a little crazy, because I think, everything should feel really good and powerful. So finding that balance is, a big part of the whole process. The question was asked as well if there will be a new round of bikini skins, because we just got like the springtime, like spa style skins with bikinis. So they're wondering if there's going to be another round of them for summer. I don't see why they wouldn't, considering it's just kind of an easy revenue stream for them, considering, what gets purchased and what gets liked. And they responded with, yes, they're doing summer skins, and Serena will have a bikini skin coming online with that. So there you can look forward to that if that's your jam. And I'll leave it there for today on the Q&A. We'll pick it up as more Q&A happens on the flippity flip, but let me know what you think about these answers and the direction for TFD going forward. photo.
If you found value in today's video, leave a like down below, leave a comment for the algorithm to help this video get seen by more people, and don't forget to check out my other channels for other content and other stuff and other things.